Hello, everyone. Calling out to you, wherever you are, from wherever we are. Welcome to the Frustrated Grad Podcast. I am your host, Zach Hughes, the black dude who wants you to prove it. And I'm welcoming my co host, writer, movie fan, wrestling fan, who is only asking you to make it clap. Tony Hoffman.
What was the prove it line? Was that a reference to
It's referencing. I
song
mean,
lyric?
both of them are referencing the same incident, which is one of our news stories.
Uh,
So I'll get to that, and then people will be surprised when that tease is finally fulfilled. But what's going on with you, Tony?
Not a whole lot. I mean, it's the beginning of the summer. Weather's heating up. Didn't really do a whole lot uh, pop culture wise. Just
All right.
took it easy. I mean, the TV season's over, and
Yeah.
I caught up on a couple of shows that had already ended.
Okay. Good
Uh,
shows or bad shows?
Good shows or bad shows. Well,
Because I'm
it
watching
depends on.
some bad shows.
I mean, I think Agents of Shield this past season had a pretty good season, all
Okay.
things considered.
I
Better
mean,
than
that's
the
good. I'm still a little
first
ways
season.
away from the end.
Yeah, I don't feel compelled to go back and watch this past season of The Flash or Arrow.
Yeah, they're really falling off the map for me. I mean, Arrow's been on a decline for like a season or two now, but Flash is even just like, this is
Yeah,
just the same thing over and over again.
I have all these. I have this Netflix account. I got all these shows. The whole seasons I can binge watch, but it's like none of them I don't feel that compelled to.
Are you an Orange is the New Black watcher?
Not anymore.
Okay, I've gotten into that new season. I think it's good. They're in full blown riot mode, which I think is that's it's back to some of the heights of what I've enjoyed from the show.
I've heard like mixed reviews about this past
Yeah,
season actually.
I'm up. I'm about 5 episodes in. I'm enjoying it so far. The riot's still going on. I think it's gonna turn out really badly for them, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far.
Because this is like the aftermath after what's her face got killed at the end of the last season.
Yeah, Poussey.
Yeah.
She gets suffocated. My guard just kneeling on her back. Yeah, so I mean, what I've seen, I've enjoyed.
Is there
Like,
any good nudity yet?
um, good nudity is kind of hard to come by on a prison show.
Yeah.
There's women running around topless just for the freedom of being in charge of the prison, but it's not what I would call good nudity.
Oh, noted.
It's victorious riot nudity. I mean, there's some near nudity from guards because they've taken all the guards hostage and are basically like they're dogging them out worse than they were ever treated as prisoners, which is entertaining to watch. It's like, wow, people are really not human. Maybe you deserve to be here for a reason. So that's interesting to see. There's a striptease by a captured guard, which like
That
how
doesn't
often do you
sound
see that?
sexy. Have you watched any of that show Glow about the 80s?
I don't think it's started yet. I saw the little preview at the top of my Netflix queue, but I think it's starting like
Really?
next week or something.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it. Like the gorgeous ladies of wrestling, like because I watched the trailer for it and I was just like, it was like the name was like, okay, Glow. It can't be that Glow, and then it actually was. I'm
Oh, cool.
excited for it when it does come out. But
On the 23rd.
yeah, so I will be watching that because I've seen a little bit of Glow. I was like, it was a little bit before my time. I watched Wow, which was kind of the descendant of Glow, the more modern women of wrestling. But yeah, so I'll be looking forward to that.
I haven't had any reason to watch that show that people were talking about a month or so ago. That 13, I think, 13
Yeah,
reasons.
it's a show about
Right?
suicide. There's
So,
nothing appealing about that show
yeah,
to me.
it's summer, man. I want to watch something fun
I
or something entertaining that's not
yeah,
deeply depressing.
I tend to forget what's her name who is the lead actress in the Glow show from Community.
Allison Brie.
Yeah, Allison Brie. I think she did an interview recently where she was talking about auditioning for Entourage.
Yeah, she
Where
clarified. She said
okay,
that like they made her like what to go topless, but
yeah,
I think she said something like she had like a shirt on over like a I don't know tank top or something. She
uh,
said on Twitter because everybody had reacted to
yeah.
what she said. Obviously,
I mean, maybe that makes it slightly less sleazy, but I still it doesn't change how I feel about that show or
yeah, me neither.
the producers. Really, I mean, 'cause the more you learn about Mark Wahlberg, the less appealing of a leading man, A-list type actor he is.
Yeah,
Just like
are you saying
he
that
he blinded a
him?
guy.
Yeah, exactly. Beating the hell out of a Taiwanese guy or wherever that was,
Yeah, you don't need these eyes. Um,
and or don't forget the racist stuff that he
yeah,
said.
I mean, just I I would assume that anybody with his background of shitty rap music was is probably hiding some.
16-year-old with Boston gang member.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't. It doesn't seem to me like he's the most upstanding citizen, except
But
for the fact that he wants to play that person in every movie. Like, you know what? I'm waiting
Daddy's
for the.
home.
No, what? Not even that. I'm talking about like he was in the Boston bombing movie, and there was another one. I think he was in one of those nine
Nobody
eleven
messes with
movies.
Boston.
Yeah, but it's just basically waiting for the next terrorist incident so he'll get his next big acting role. Um,
Yeah, he said that if he were on the plane that crashed into the World Trade Center tower, he would have taken care of business or some shit. He would have.
yep. I, the two people I always believe is Mark Wahlberg and Steve Ranazizi when it comes to 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in the
Two,
building. Yeah, he
yeah,
was on his way to the building.
yep. He jumped from the top floor and landed on his feet
A
and made it
miracle.
back home.
Have you watched the newest season of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Yeah, I'm probably 3 episodes from the end now.
I don't know.
I'm enjoying it. Are you watching it too?
I mean, I saw the first season, but I haven't watched the second one yet. It's so much, so many like shows to sort of catch up on, and that show in particular is like the whole like the joke and like the whole premise of like who she is, the whole cult and all that stuff, and her adjusting to the world is just. It doesn't seem like it's real urgent for me to get back and watch. I'll
I
get
mean,
around to it at some point.
I mean, I think it's worth it when you get to it because I'll watch like two or three at a time. So it's not like I'm fitting it into my like weekly
I get it.
schedule with
So you're
everything. It's
saying that
just like
I could have it on in the background. I'm
no,
doing
you
stuff.
don't have it on the background. No, I'm watching it actively. I'm just binging it when like
I
there's
mean, I
nothing
could
else
have it on
on.
in the background.
Well, you go ahead, feel free.
Yeah.
I feel like you're probably gonna want to perk up when they get to the conspiracy theorist recording session. I think that's pretty funny
So
because
like I know like the first season it was all about getting the cult leader, the John Hamm character, during the whole trial, and
mhm.
like what was the whole big thing of season two? What was that leading up?
Season two, the climax is Kimmy meeting her mom again after all of this time because she just like totally forgot about her. So it was I feel like that reveal was funny of how that all went down, and the type of mother that would have a child kidnapped for 14 years and just be like, yeah, whatever. So that was, I think, um,
And what's the season three build up? What's it building up to? 'Cause I know that you haven't finished it yet, but
I mean, uh,
the
I would say what's
storyboard.
the main story? I would say there's the one subplot with whether or not Titus ate somebody. um,
What the hell?
I'm trying to be cryptic, but yeah, it's pretty much that's one of the plots. Uh, Gentrification is a big issue because they live in East Dogmouth, which is becoming gentrified. I guess that's a borough in New York, East Dogmouth, and there is a theme of changing a team mascot, which is offensive. So
Wow,
it's funnier than it sounds explaining it. I'm not trying to spoil anything for
that's
all
very
those
nice of you.
Kimmy Schmidt spoiler watchers out there. Another show that I've been watching that you refuse to watch is American Gods, and
It's not that I refuse to watch it. It's just that there's other stuff on.
I really enjoy it. I like from the point where I watched the premiere, and it's a 8 episode season, so the finale is actually tonight. But from the point that I watched your premiere, I've read about 2/3 through the book, so I'm really enjoying like reading the book throughout the week and seeing like what's different in each episode. So it's like the first show I've ever watched where I like have book knowledge now. Like all those Game of Thrones people, I was
That's too
always
many
annoyed with
damn
them
books.
about, yeah. I was always annoyed when they were like, "Oh, this in the book," da, da, da.
Like
But
holding
now,
that shit over you and stuff.
yeah, but now I'm watching it and it's enhancing my experience. I feel like Game of Thrones is still too much of a deep dive to try to do that with. Plus, we're past it anyway.
Which it
But
makes it awesome now because now book readers don't know what's happening.
yeah, but with American Gods, the book is really good and the show is really good, and they're not very different, but they're differences that are enjoyable from both ends. So I'm having
So
fun with that.
is there a character in the book that like fucks people into her vagina?
Yeah, yeah. That's her name is Bilquis. Because these are all like based on different. Uh, I mean, it depends on how you want to look at them. You can look at them as different mythological figures from literature or actual gods. I mean, because they have Odin involved in the story, who I think most people these days would look at as a mythological figure, but I think some people actually worshipped him. So, yeah, it's all different gods from different cultures. And like the story is basically about immigration, but using gods as a way to explain it, like how all these different immigrants from all over the world brought their gods to America. And
Nice.
now there's a war of old gods versus new gods. Like the new gods are like there's one called Technical Boy, um, and then there's the Media and Mr. World, and they all like they're the new hotness. Uh,
So it's a commentary on like current society or
yeah,
something like that.
it's about like materialism, racism, immigration. It's a lot of different themes that I think are tied together. Well, the book is really good though. If nothing else, the book is worth the read. In the show, like I feel like it's a really good translation of it. It's a lot more about racism in the show than it ever was in the book. It was more generally about immigration in the book, but they honed in on more specific stuff because the book was written in like 2001, I think. So the show
A
they've
lot of stuff
added,
has happened.
yeah, they've added stuff about police brutality, and there's one of the African gods who's he's in the book, but he has a lot more material in the show now. He's because he's basically giving this speech on a slave ship, basically telling all the slaves, "Hey, you're fucked from now until eternity," and he basically encourages them to kill themselves and the people in charge of the slave ship. So It's a good show. Uh, I'll stop there
I think
because
I
I
remember
would
hearing
spoil
about
more
that.
stuff about it.
I think I remember hearing about that speech. Like it was
Yeah,
like
like that moment, like that's the best piece of acting Orlando Jones has ever done, hands down.
even better than all of his Sleepy Hollow, Mad TV stuff.
I cannot speak to that. I mean, he was good on Mad TV, but man, this is like this is Emmy territory. I feel like if anybody's paying attention, I would say Carrie Coon from The Leftovers slash Fargo and Orlando Jones should definitely be an Emmy consideration next award season. But there's that recommendation.
There's that recommendation.
Oh,
So
have
have
you
you?
watched the first episode of Claws? I know the second one came on last night. I think. Have you
I
watched?
I've seen most of it.
Okay.
What did you
Uh,
think? Did you enjoy it?
yeah, I think it's. I really like the first episode. I'm gonna stick with it because it's giving me. It's funny because it's like it's kind of a mix of like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad mixed with I don't know, like Set It Off. I'm getting vibes of that. So
Yeah, you made
yeah,
fun of me when I mentioned you didn't know what it was.
yeah. I hadn't seen the trailer. I had just heard your description of it. I was like, okay, so so it like it's not a comedy, but Niecy Nash is going
Yeah, there are
to
some
flex her
comedy
comedy
elements on
muscles.
it.
Yeah, it's the type of comedy that Breaking
Dark
Bad
humor.
was. Yeah, it's like that was hilarious. Also, did you see that guy melted? So yeah,
I like
I'm looking
I
forward
like
to it.
what's her face? Was it Judy Reyes uh, from Scrubs plays the lesbian
Oh,
character,
yeah, because I was like, she looks familiar, but like completely different, and she barely talks. It's an interesting character.
and Chris Brown's ex,
Yeah,
with
Karuchi, I think is her name.
Karuchi
Yeah,
Tran.
yeah, uh, yeah. So I'm enjoying it so far. I'm gonna probably watch the second episode after we finish this podcast. So
Ah,
I'm glad to. This is always good when there's actual good shows on during the summer, like current good shows.
Preacher's
Because
coming back.
yeah, I finally finished that. It took me a while to finish Preacher season one, just because like I got caught up with all
Too
other
much
shows. Yeah,
TV.
yeah, but I feel like the rest of the shows have been like cold away because like Game of Thrones isn't starting for a while still, right?
3 weeks.
Okay, so then I think my current roster of shows is just gonna be Preacher, Game of Thrones, and Claws. Is there anything else current that's gonna be good this summer?
Uh, do you watch that show? What's it called? Night Shift on NBC.
Hell
What
no, I hate hospital shows. It's probably because my mom is a nurse and she used to watch ER every week, and I think
uh,
she watched whatever hospital shows were on. So I was just like, enough of this shit.
do you remember when like ER, like the peak of ER, like it was like mid to late '90s, and that was
Yeah,
like the most popular show, and
yeah, it's
George
just
Clooney and Juliana Margulies.
and it's weird because not much has changed because like it just you could basically say it was just continued with Grey's Anatomy on another network, but it's just like hospitals always on TV somewhere.
Lots of drama, man. Lives are being saved.
I mean, it's just, I guess between doctors and lawyers, you're never gonna get rid of those two themes.
Lots of fucking in the closet, and
Yeah,
you know,
they fucked in the closet. Uh,
hostage situations, and
yeah,
embalming.
yeah. It's like it's always funny when like because I don't watch these shows, but I'll see like their super dramatic commercials like this episode is the darkest yet. Or they'll do like the Chicago shows, which like none of those feel like Chicago to me, but it's like,
Even though they're
sh-
filmed in Chicago.
yeah, it's like Chicago Med crosses over with Chicago Fire and
Fire.
Chicago PD.
PD.
It's like there's a tower explosion and everybody has to be saved by the Chicago Avengers. Like I wish they felt more like the Chicago that I know because I don't hang around in police stations that often
Fuck
or
no.
hospitals. So it's just like I want something that's like fun Chicago, like
Like Chicago Vienna beef stand, or like Chicago beauty supply store. Or...
yeah, or something more like Shameless. It's just like they just live in Chicago, so we just see it because that's where they are. I don't want a show about how shitty Chicago is, and it seems like that's what those are. Um, I know so many people who've been on these shows, so I should do better
Yeah,
at
right.
supporting them by watching them. But it's just like, yeah,
I don't.
I watch
They
the
look so
scene when
damn
you post it.
uninteresting. Procedurals.
Yeah, it's just like, I guess that's the thing. It's just like how everybody in New York has been on one of the Law and Order shows. It's just
Yeah,
like,
it's like your resume. It's like your sort of rite of passage as an actor.
yeah, it's like, okay, how many episodes of Law and Order have you been on? It's not even a question of if you've been. I was like, okay, I've been on SVU as a body. I was a suspect on Criminal Intent. Uh,
Content. I was on
yeah.
the short-lived trial by jury.
Oh yeah. Um, but yeah, so like, yeah, I know a bunch of people, former radio station co-workers who have all been on either Empire
Extras.
or
Had a
Chicago.
speaking part. Featured extra.
Yeah, uh, I know a guy who actually seemed like he was gonna have a, continuing role on one of those Chicago shows, but he passed. But yeah, I know so many people who uh, from just all over who've been like, yeah, look at me on this show. Just like, all right,
Okay, you were on the show for 10 seconds. Now it's
yeah,
your Facebook profile photo.
congratulations. Yeah, but yeah, especially Empire. I feel like I know probably at least five people who've been on Empire. Yeah.
So you've been keeping up on Empire?
Sadly, no. I'm sorry
Fuck
to all of
no.
my friends who've been on there. Who I haven't been watching your work. I'll just watch whatever you post on Facebook about it.
I posted on social media that I spent all Saturday watching that OJ Made in America documentary that
Is this your first
everybody
time
was
watching
talking
it?
about. Yeah, like I had seen like some of the episodes, but this was like the first time I had seen it straight through because this is
It's
like
a
the
long
time.
documentary.
This is the time where I can finally check back on all the things people were talking about like
Yeah,
fucking 5 6 months ago.
yeah. Just like, oh my god, guys, this is so amazing. Like, yeah, been there, done that, guy. Um, so you watched that. So you enjoyed the full. What is it like? 6 or 8 hours? How long is it?
I know it's like a 5 6 part series, and it was like yeah, I think like 8 hours or something like. Cause like it's like 2 hours each.
Yeah, because I know because it won. What was it? The Oscar for
Yeah,
documentary. So it's
they
like
aired it
this.
in a movie theater like one
Who
day
who sat through all of that?
just so it could be eligible for the
Yeah,
Academy Award.
yeah, but it's like it's the longest. I think it's the longest film ever to win an Oscar, besides just documentary wise. Um, but yeah, so that's crazy. Um, did you watch the what I would say is the peak of OJ mania was the People versus OJ Simpson.
I didn't watch. I didn't watch it because I didn't want to. I
You don't
mean,
want to get spoiled, because you don't want to
yeah,
know how it
spoiler alert.
ends.
I didn't want to watch some like Ryan Murphy
I
produced like dramatization where they fucking make shit up and
I mean, I would say if Brian Murphy is not a good producer and none of his shows are good. I mean, Scream Queens I enjoy, but it's fucking
the
canceled.
problem is
But
that it's the novelty runs out after a season
well,
on all these shows.
that's the problem. Is like every season of American Horror Story has like one good episode, or
But like
I would say the
all
first ones had like the first half was good. Then it was like it should have ended on that episode. Then they just
all
kept
of his
going.
shows going back to like Nip Tuck is like they
Oh,
had
that
all
show
that critical
fucking went down a horrible
that
shit
critical
slide.
acclaim the first season, and then it just
Yeah,
turns to shit because it's like they come up with this, like a great idea for a show, but then they don't know where to go.
yeah, it
So
doesn't
like
have legs.
yeah,
Um,
Glee.
but I would say Scream Queens was still in that spot of where they probably had one more season and they could have ended it, but it was just stopped short. I have not really liked any of American Horror Story in total, but I did like the People versus OJ Simpson. I felt like that was a really good season of television.
What did you? How did you feel about John Travolta, his casting as Robert Shapiro?
I mean, him being cast as anything is distracting because it's just like, well, like what's real? It's like he literally just finished Face Off. It's just like I have to go method for this role and actually cut my face off and switch it with someone. Which is funny, like when he like at the time of Face Off, he had some surgery done at that point, I think. But like this is the time for a sequel because it really looks like he's been swapping his face back and
I
forth
think
for years.
I think the reason why I wasn't interested in watching it is because the actual trial itself was already like a TV show
It
with
was.
characters. So why do I want to watch a fucking
I mean, I feel like it wasn't just like, I mean, because we only knew what we could see in the courtroom as it was being aired on court TV or whatever. But
that stuff on the show is like didn't really happen.
I mean, as far as people's like
Like
testimony about it as it was going, nobody really
like
outright
Chris
said this
Darden
is
and
fake.
Marsha Clark that
Didn't
they
have
didn't
a
have a
romance.
relationship.
I mean,
The guy
nobody's
didn't have a
denied
heart
it. They
attack or
just,
pass out during the trial or
I mean, he
whatever.
had a heart attack, but it wasn't in court.
No, he I think he had some sort of medical issue where he went to the hospital
Okay.
like, that night and then he was released the next day or something like that.
I mean, that's movie magic or TV magic, but I mean, just like in the New Edition story, if you ever watch that, the guy had a heart attack, but it was days before he actually had it in the in the biopic. Their
That's
manager, but I would say that those weren't even like the peak moments of what was good about the trials. Like some of the back and forth of how like the momentum shifted during the trial. It's just like, oh, here's the smoking gun right here. I enjoyed that stuff, which is like
hmm
basic uh, court show type of stuff, but it was real. So I
Did
enjoyed
you
that
think
stuff more.
Cuba Gooding Jr. was a good OJ?
I mean, he didn't even really need to be a good OJ because he was kind of a background player in this whole
I
thing. It was
swear.
just, he was kind of just he was what people were using as a figurehead on both sides. Like, this is the face of an elite Hollywood big shot who thinks he can get away with anything from the prosecution side, and on the other side is like he's gonna be our face of Black America. It's just like and he really didn't. He really wasn't
Just
standing
white
firmly on either.
fucking
Yeah, but he wasn't either of those. He was just a guy who probably
he
killed
was
his
just
wife.
this guy who was used as like this sort of pawn for like Johnny Cochran and like you know Carl Douglas and all those lawyers who went
Yeah,
with the whole oh he's this black man and Mark Furman's racist and
yeah.
you
I
know,
mean, Mark Furman was racist, so
yeah
that
but it
really,
was like this sort of but it was like it focused on that instead of the fact that he murdered these two people.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I would say, and it's funny, in even in the end, looking back at that, I'm thinking like, did he really murder him? The verdict I'll land on, because one of my points in the show notes was like, there's some good juicy conspiracy theories out there. My verdict on the OJ thing is I think he was definitely involved, but he probably hired somebody. I
I
don't think
think
he
that
did the
she
jumping over the fence and all that stuff
I
like
think that
that.
she came at him with a knife, and he grabbed the knife and killed her, and then killed Ron Goldman when he saw what was happening.
I mean, but why would she do that if there's? I mean, I guess unless she just didn't have any faith in her boyfriend to defend her. Why would she be coming at him with a knife when she has a guy there? It's like kick his ass, Ron. But who knows? The only people who will know are those three, and two of them are dead. I think
What's
that's.
OJ up? What's OJ up to now, Zach?
I think right about now he might be having lunch. Prison slop, which is similar to vomit, which is a quote from the latest season of Orange Is the New Black. Tying it all together there. Um, what was your takeaway from the OJ documentary? How do you feel about him coming after off of the heels of that?
I mean, I just it's tough to like feel sorry for him because of what he did and just what a complete asshole
Yeah,
he is, and just how it's such a fascinating look at just sort of like just sort of like race in America and like this man who did everything in his power to be not necessarily white, but just to like
to be
not be black, just to be
like,
OBA.
is there a word for is a racial a word? It's like asexual. He's just trying to be like, I want to
Yeah.
get all of this color off of me.
And
He
then and then just him just beating the shit out of this woman, and then just like
Nicole.
terrorizing her and like the kids and shit in the house, and then him stalking her like while she was dating other guys and fucking other guys, and sending his and just like the charisma and just the sort of like the way that like
Like
people
he
protected
charmed
him.
people.
Yeah, and the police just protected him and everything, and then once the trial happened, and just how people sort of like used the trial for like their own agenda, because
Yeah,
obviously like the whole like LAPD like racism in America, and all of
yeah,
a sudden like OJ, like the whitest black man in the world, is like this civil rights icon, and like
yeah.
couldn't give a shit about black people.
I feel like Johnny Cochran used OJ's plight as a preacher would use the Bible. He just like picked whatever he wanted from. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna use this to support my point right here. It's
Exactly,
just like,
exactly.
maybe it's not such a one for one.
Mm.
Um,
I just feel sorry for the families of the people that got killed.
yeah, because it's really messed up. Like this guy came from Ron Goldman, come from Chicago, wanted to be an actor,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then ended up just waiting tables and meets uh, this hot divorcee and gets murdered. The end. It's a pretty sad LA story.
And
Um,
then and just how stupid OJ is. Like you would think he would like lay low after all that stuff, but then he goes to like
nope.
Miami, goes to Miami, and like he's hanging out with a different group of friends, and he's like going to strip clubs and like hanging out with all these seedy people.
It's
And
about
just
the company you keep.
yeah, exactly, and like he thinks that like some guy stole his memorabilia based off of some false tip, and he hires like a bunch of like shithead friends of his to go to Las Vegas in this hotel to like rob him and take his merchandise back, even though it wasn't his.
I mean, that
Really
chapter of the
stupid.
story will be a really great season two for People versus OJ.
These old dumbasses like
Yeah, because it
didn't even
reminds.
know which they didn't know which room to go to. They were going up and down the elevator and shit.
It seems like that. What was it? There's the old movie that just came. A movie with a bunch of old guys, Morgan Freeman,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
some of the guys who were gonna
Alan
pull off a
Arkin,
heist. Yeah,
Michael Caine.
yeah. Just like they basically could just do that story, and
I think they were a little bit more organized than this fucking.
maybe I didn't see it, but it seems like a good slapstick comedy of errors.
And he still ended up in jail. You stupid
Yeah, it's just
motherfucker.
like it was like a Final Destination type of thing. It's just like it was coming for him. The hand of justice was it was always out there.
And just didn't give a shit about his children and like their reputations and like
Yeah,
what kind of father he was. He's just,
I did like there was one like real bit of like a human moment from the series from the People versus OJ Simpson. Like after the trial and everything, the I think it was one of his older sons. He gets him a dog. He's like, it's just because I don't want you to be alone, and he walks away from him. And you see, like, I you had to look at the expression from Cuba Gooding. It was like he realized like he won, but he really lost because like
exactly.
everybody was just
All
like,
of his
yeah, I'm
friends,
backing away.
they just stopped talking to him. He was just that's why I say like you kind of feel sorry for him, because now all of his friends and shit, they're
Yeah,
not talking to him. That whole neighborhood, like
yeah.
they
Then you
just
have
want him to
Rob
just move.
Kardashian who was by his side the whole time, and he's just like, you see his face from the real footage and from the show. He's just like, oh my god, what have we just done?
Yeah.
It's like, There you go.
Everybody's yelling at him like, "You fucking killer, you piece of shit." He's like pumping
Yeah.
gas at the gas station.
I mean, for the, with that aspect, I feel a little bit sorry for him because I can kind of not sympathize in a sense like I know anything directly about this experience, but like my dad even got stuff like that when he came back from Vietnam. Just like, you fucking murderer.
Baby, you baby killer.
Yeah. So, uh,
But
you
I don't
know,
think your father broke the law or anything.
I mean, I have no idea. I wasn't there with him,
He was
but
taking orders.
happy
But
Father's
yeah,
Day.
but like what sort of
Um,
shocked me was like after he gets out of jail and like all of his like his white rich friends that he loved abandoned him. This
yeah,
motherfucker is like going to like these black churches and stuff, and he's like talking and like all these like religious people are like like yeah we love OJ, and he's going to like he went to like Roscoe's like chicken and waffles in like L.A. and his agent was like OJ like you've never fucking had chicken and waffles like your whole
no,
life.
no, I doubt it. Uh, I mean, there was no Roscoe's quinoa and tofu at that time. Uh,
Did they? Let me ask you a question. In that FX series, did they have the bit where they take the jury to his house,
oh
and
yeah, and
they they
how it was manipulated
they
beforehand.
take down all the pictures with all the white people, all his white friends.
Hey, let's hang a dashiki up in this corner. Put some African art over here. Yeah, that was that was a good episode. It's just like, okay, we gotta we gotta judge this place up, and then they show like, I think they showed Nicole's family or her friends or whatever went in there. It's like, this house didn't look like this at all. But yeah, that was interesting. And there was a whole episode
Awful.
dedicated to the jury, which was funny to me. They were like debating on whether they watched Martin or Seinfeld. uh, yeah,
They,
I just feel like there was some quality TV.
they didn't know like one of the jury members was like a former Black Panther, and he like raised his fist after
Yeah,
the after the verdict was read.
like, damn right, brother. um, hey, that's always the weird thing with these, like whenever a celebrity goes to trial, because it's just like they have to find people presumably who don't know about the situation.
Yeah,
Like,
they talk about it in the documentary. Like the
yeah,
prosecution would have preferred like a younger pool of jury members that wouldn't have been old enough to remember him when he was a football player. And they unfortunately
yeah,
didn't get that, and they got I think it was like majority black women
yeah,
too.
yeah. So and that leaned him in a favorable direction. I mean, I guess that was the inspiration for this show, Bull. That's on CBS. If anybody watches that, just like the psychology behind
Nobody
picking
watches.
jury members and swaying them. Uh, I mean, if you're into that type of deep analysis of courtroom dynamics, then that would be an interesting show. But outside of the terms of specifically the OJ trial, I'm not interested in that.
I guess yesterday was like the 24th anniversary of
Okay.
killing, or
Yeah,
23rd, right? That was 94, 23rd.
yeah, that's the sparkling sequin anniversary. I believe that's what it's called. Um,
Never heard that before.
I mean, 23 isn't anything. 25 is usually something
Nice,
those even
yeah,
or five milestones.
pretty
Uh,
numbers.
Speaking of milestones, did you see my post on Facebook today? Apparently, 7 years
No, I did not.
ago today, the two of us went to that Conan writers.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I
I
did
mean, I
see
don't know
that.
if we went on 7 years ago today. I know I at least posted that photo 7 years ago. Uh, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I posted it the same day. So that's interesting. 7 years
That
later,
TBS just for laughs.
yeah, when Conan was in between getting screwed over from his Tonight Show gig and going to TBS where he wasn't allowed to
But that wasn't the real
perform on
Conan.
TV. Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, check out uh, our Facebook pages and see us with the genuine, real deal Conan O'Brien.
Totally not fake. Totally not a guy that was just walking around getting photos.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
opportunity.
I'm probably gonna make that our cover art for this week, so you can see our cover art for the podcast. It's us with the Conan O'Brien, authentic.
Do you still have those that shirt, Zach?
Did we get a shirt from there?
No, I mean the shirt that you're wearing.
Oh, I definitely have that black and white striped shirt. Uh,
I still
yeah,
have mine, but it's not in the rotation.
yeah, that one's definitely not in the rotation because I wear work shirts all the time. So that one's a little bit too fun for work. Shows you what
Too
kind of
comfortable.
workplace I have.
Hell.
It's too fun. Get out of here with that.
But do you remember the comics that we saw?
Barely. I remember the one guy who called us the Black Statler in Waldorf.
Who was
Uh,
that? Do you
uh,
remember the name? His name? I don't even
I
remember.
I can't, and I don't even. Either his whole set was removed from the broadcast airing, or that joke was removed.
That joke was removed.
Yeah, for sure that joke was removed. I don't think his set might have been removed also, but who knows?
Let me ask you this question. Do you remember who the warm up guy was before the came on it before the show started?
I'm trying to think. Was it Hannibal Buress?
No,
Oh, who was it? I'm trying to think.
he
I
wasn't
can't
all that
remember.
known yet.
I can't
He's a
remember.
up and coming guy,
Who was it?
the Eric Andre.
Was it Eric Andre? I have no recollection of that. Because I know because I was trying to remember. I was racking my brain because I was like, I know I saw Hannibal Buress somewhere. Where it's just like I didn't know who this guy was, and then all of a sudden I was like, it's my favorite comedian. Like I didn't realize I saw him for really cheap or free at some point, but I couldn't remember where it was. But it was Eric Andre. I don't remember any of his jokes. Was it good?
Neither do I.
Um, it's probably back when he was just being a straight up stand up. I mean, he apparently had
Yeah, he
some.
wasn't that outrageous. I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. I would, if I could only go back in time and take more photos, I would have. Um, but yeah, that
But yeah,
that was 7 years ago, and we haven't fallen out yet. As much as I
not yet.
try.
Yeah, you know.
Uh, all right. What what is in the news this week? Oh, you know what? Before we get to that, I wanted to talk about something else. Uh, I don't know if I should. I don't know if this is completely delusional or it's just me catching something. But have you ever listened to any of the podcasts from Live Audio Wrestling?
Have I?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
All right. So they do a few podcasts a week. They'll do The Law, which is their main show. Then they'll do review of Raw and review of SmackDown.
I
And they
listen
have
to I listen to mainly just like Meltzer
okay.
and Brian Alvarez on the
Meltzer is
224.
occasionally on The Law, but it's
Okay.
usually just on their weekend show. But so review of Raw is their longer running show where they had it was just audio for a while. Then they started doing video, and those are basically both the same episode. And then they started doing review of SmackDown when SmackDown became relevant. And then like I wasn't listening to them until recently, and they've only been doing it for like a couple months. But like I listened to one, and they were talking about the fact that they have like this specific stuff at the end of their audio version that's not in the video version, that's audio exclusive for people who stay tuned into that version. It's just like that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't listen. Have they stolen our gimmick? Because they literally
Well,
didn't do that with their Raw show at
I think
all.
that when you look at the amount of views we get, I highly doubt
I mean, we get more listeners on our audio version than we get in views on
we get two
YouTube.
audio listeners to our one YouTube view.
No, we get about 66 audio listeners per episode compared to like our 10 to 20 between the two channels on YouTube. But
That is
I
a
have been in
significant
communication with
mark.
the people from Live Audio Wrestling, and they are aware of me and have talked on Twitter. So I just want to put that out there. Then that maybe we influence that.
No,
But
flattery.
their audio exclusive stuff is just them talking about Total Divas. It's like if you watch the video version, then you won't hear their Total Divas review. So I think our audio exclusives are a little bit better than that. Anyway,
Yeah.
into the news of this week. I'm trying to see. What is this Twitter record that Katy Perry broke?
Well, she is the first person to have 100 million Twitter followers. I am not,
Okay.
or nor have I ever been one of them.
So you're not in the Katy Perry clique?
Fuck no.
All right. Well, you can't. Then you don't get to celebrate in her marvelous success, and we can't all be fireworks together.
It's a teenage dream.
Yeah. When you think about that song, it's kind of creepy. Also, her song Friday Night, it's
Rape,
about
drug.
it's about having a menage a trois, and if you watch the video, it's heavily indicated that Rebecca Black was orchestrating the whole thing. The young girl who did the song Friday, like she makes it so that she's like the person who's turning nerdy Katy Perry into this sex goddess. So yeah, a young
Rebecca Black. Whatever happened to her?
I don't know. She's probably off somewhere in college or something at this point. Who knows? But yeah, this young like 14-year-old girl was orchestrating Katy Perry's menage a trois. So just
Wow,
think about that next time you watch
you
the
really
video.
pick apart these Katy Perry videos.
It's a niche that I feel like I was born to do. I always knew one day when I was growing up, I said, "Mommy, when I grow up, I want to pick apart videos by a subpar white pop star who doesn't know what genre she wants to be in."
Former Christian singer.
Yeah. And then my mom slapped me in the face and said, "Boy, don't you know we're Jehovah's Witnesses?" We weren't. We weren't
Thank
anything.
God, I'm about to say it again.
We weren't anything, actually. Anyway,
This is God's day. Like,
next. All right. So speaking of people who have been in feuds, whether in
and
pop
Twitter.
songs or on Twitter, what's going on with Seth Rogen and Rob Schneider?
Seth Rogen like went on Twitter. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and he saw that Rob Schneider had blocked him on Twitter, and he just said like,
Okay.
"What the fuck?"
Okay, so it starts with a block. Is
And
there any
then pretty
explanation for why this happened?
no, that's the whole joke. And then he's like, then like his comedian friends were just basically just making fun of Rob Schneider for the whole thing.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I
Him,
think
him for being unfunny and him for being like a Republican conservative and all that other shit.
I mean, it could be just a matter of him not knowing how to work Twitter. Because I've heard of people being blocked just because, like, somebody's trying to follow somebody and they don't know what the hell they're doing. But you
You
never
think that
know.
that's the guy? I doubt that.
I mean, I don't know too much about Rob Schneider besides the fact that his daughter is Elle King, which
Yeah,
I was shocked to find out.
I
Because
don't think
this
that she grew up with him though.
okay, yeah, because I know her mom is some blonde model and dad is a schlub.
Yeah, gee, I wonder how she got conceived. Wonder what the circumstances of that was.
Probably coked out of her mind. Who
Oh, gee,
knows?
I wasn't even gonna go that dark.
Oh, why? Where were you going with it?
The one night stand with some model.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like Rob Schneider. How else does he get
At the
women?
height of Schneider fame, was
Schneider
probably
mania, the height of Schneider mania
20,
during the
20,
Animal.
22, 22, making copies.
I don't even know if that was his height. He's just some featured player guy. I think the animal was
That
probably
was the
the
funniest he ever did.
yeah the animal and the hot chick. The hot chick wasn't as good, but I did like the animal. Um, but yeah,
That
so
was the that was like the big debut of Rachel McAdams in the. Now, what
really,
movie am I thinking of? That's
was it
the
the hot chick?
yes, the hot chick.
Okay, I barely remember the hot chick. I've actually gone back and watched the animal uh multiple times. And I think I watched. I think there was one point in time where I was watching Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, a few times a week. Uh,
Was the female
number
lead in the
two of them.
animal? She was the girl that was on the first season of Survivor.
Yes, that's true. I do
That's like the
remember that.
only thing
I
that
didn't
she
know
ever
anything
did.
about Survivor. I hadn't watched Survivor, but I did know that woman was from Survivor. But yeah, that's back when reality stars actually had some kind of longevity uh, after their series were over. But those days have long passed.
So, Zach, I didn't ask you. Like, did you see any movies this past week? Did you see Cars 3 or All Eyes on Me, the
The
Tupac
Tupac.
biopic?
No, I had no intention of seeing either of
Me
those.
neither. Yeah, and
Actually,
I think you did good.
yeah, I actually had anti anticipation for the Tupac movie
But
because
that's how I
like,
felt about like the OJ. Even though it was critically acclaimed, it's like I don't want to see like some dramatized version. I already like lived through and saw like the actual facts of
I think
the
it was.
real of it.
I think that's a different story. It was. I feel like they enhanced the OJ situation. They didn't make him seem sympathetic, or they didn't change any of that. They really played it straight down the middle as far as that went. Like you never really knew, as far as the show was concerned. Like, did he do it? It seems like he did it, but maybe not. Maybe he's just really slow. He doesn't know how to defend himself properly. But like, but the Tupac thing, I was just like, I have no interest. I watched the it was a Tupac documentary that came out in theaters years ago. I
I know
enjoyed
what you're talking about.
yeah, I enjoyed that, but I never wanted to see a dramatized Tupac life
Like
story.
like some shitty like high school play version of
Yeah,
this real dramatized version
yeah, and
reenactment.
plus like Tupac was such a complicated character that I would have. Uh, it, it probably takes too much work as far as an acting job is concerned to like portray
Research,
all
yes,
of that.
getting his mannerisms and the whole look and this.
Yeah, because he was like at like at the same time he was like a revolutionary and an activist, but at the same time he was a violent piece of shit.
Just misogynist,
Yeah. So it's just like and he
homophobic,
yeah. It's just like you know what? I'll settle with the real thing.
like the digital underground understudy.
Yeah. I wonder if that was touched on, like his, him dancing in the background for the Humpty dance. Um, I'm trying to think. There was a. Did they use this person who played Tupac in Straight Outta Compton, or was this a new guy?
I think it was a new person.
Okay, so there goes that whole shared universe. Like people just blowing that, just blowing that opportunity. Uh,
What shared? It's not the Death Row universe because Biggie wasn't part of Death Row. It's
it would just be
the
too bad the dark universe is taken, but the
the rap universe. I don't know.
the
That's too generic.
hip hop verse. I don't know, uh, but yeah, I would like to see more good biopics because I feel like Straight Outta Compton was the only one for a while now. I can't think
I would
of
like
any other good
I would like
music
to see like
biopics that
a
I like.
biopic of like someone who isn't as famous as like the Tupacs and the Biggies. Like
So that they could
that,
do more creative licensing and just change
no,
stuff
no,
you would
no. Just a
notice.
rapper or who isn't as a rapper or like someone who is a part of that whole scene.
Well, the I'm trying to think of who are the likely candidates of it. I feel like Ja Rule at this point has a pretty good story lined up. His,
Jaw
uh,
rule.
like his rise and his getting completely destroyed in a rap beef, and then going on to be a
A
hated,
VH1 staple.
failed, well, VH1 staple, and then a failed uh, festival promoter. I feel like that's a pretty interesting, sad story that could
The
just,
rise and fall of Ja Rule, Murder Inc.
yeah. Where's Ja? The Ja Rule story.
Ashanti.
Yeah. Oh, but really quick back to the OJ thing. I would say the best encapsulation of like whether to believe OJ or not, as far as his innocence, is the Dave Chappelle special, the first one that dropped on Netflix recently. Like he tells his three stories about meeting OJ. It's just like, you know what, I'll, I'm gonna judge the entire thing based on this. It's just like he left the room. He was extremely charming and everything. And he left, it was like I could feel murder in there. It's like, yeah, there it
It's a
is.
manipulative. I know this pathological liar.
Yeah, but off of OJ. 'Cause I don't want this to be the OJ cast. Um,
You brought it up.
yeah. So what, McDonald's and the Olympics have broken up. What does this mean?
That's exactly what it means.
So they are no longer going to be the official like sponsor of the Olympics or whatever.
Pretty much. I think it's like what 50 years. I think it was like 1968
Okay.
or 69. They've had their little tie-ins, little toys, little promotions.
So did somebody from the IOC watch The Founder and realize like, hey, this whole thing is built on lies?
Well, the whole Olympics, the whole IOC is built on lies, or they're run on lies at this point.
I mean, then they shouldn't be a match. But what what exactly happened for them to split up? It's just, have they moved on to someone else like Chick-fil-A or Steak and Shake or somewhere like that?
They can check it. Let's see here. Per CNN Money, it's not so strange that the two entities have split up. After all, how many marriages can truly stand the test of time to reach that golden arches anniversary? But the
Ha.
timing is a little odd. You get it.
Yeah.
McDonald's and the International Olympic Committee had a deal in place through 2020, although the parting has apparently been mutual and amicable. McDonald's will still act as a sponsor at next year's Winter Games in South Korea, for instance, although it won't do any Olympic themed advertising. In the U.S., McDonald's isn't the first big corporate entity to cut ties with the games this year. Budweiser cut its sponsorship
So it was
of the
McDonald's stance to
yeah.
leave. Hmm.
McDonald's left. Hilton, AT&T have both publicly declined to participate. It's not exactly clear why corporate America is turning its back on the games. Although the crappy ratings NBC put
Yeah,
them
it's
down
the return
for
on
last year.
investment. That's the deal. It's like I'm paying for like five Super Bowls and I'm not getting that same return.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense
There
to
you
me.
go.
Plus, you have like events that are going on at like 2 in the morning, based on depending on what country it's in. It's like, yeah, we're not getting peak attention on these commercials. Um, I
Question
mean, it
answered.
makes sense from that perspective.
Were
But
you
yeah,
compelled to buy McDonald's from watching the Olympics? Do you even watch the Olympics?
I'm trying to think. What was I watching? I was watching a lot of volleyball this past Olympics.
Gee, I wonder why.
It wasn't even that. I think
You
I
fucking
watched.
pervert.
No, I watched both. I think I watched men's and women's.
Ooh,
Um,
both ways.
because like in high school, I was always mad that there was no men's volleyball team at my school, because like out of all the sports that I absolutely sucked at, I felt like I was pretty good at volleyball because I had long arms, and like all I had to do was wait. So my hand-eye coordination was good enough that I could hit the ball when it came to me. So I've always been interested in volleyball more than other sports, even though it's like
Have you? When
bottom
was the
tier.
last time you played volleyball?
It's been a while, so I probably wouldn't be as good. It's been since high school. But like, how many opportunities do you think I, as a black man, have to just like, hey, you're gonna play some volleyball,
Take your
or
ass to North Avenue Beach. Just they
so I
got
could
the
step on
netting
a
and
syringe? Um,
go
no, thank you.
to Oak Street Beach.
All right,
Go to Rainbow Beach
all right.
if you prefer the South Side.
Uh, I'm not really a beach person. I think my tan is about done.
I'm not a Chicago beach person.
Where do you go? Like to the dunes in Indiana?
I mean, like I would go to the beach, but not these beaches here, just based on the crowdedness and the reports of the shootings and the violence that takes place on
Yeah,
really hot
it's not very fun.
days.
That's not how I want to catch my rays from laser dots. Where? What else do we
No
have?
siree, Bob.
Oh, speaking of like large corporate entities, I wanted to talk about this last week, but I didn't talk about it. Have you been into a Best Buy anytime recently?
Yeah, I've been in a Best Buy within the last 2 months.
Okay. Uh, what was your impression of it? Like, uh, did they accomplish what you were going there for? Or what were you looking
Usually
for when you went?
when I go there, I go there to get like one specific thing, and then I like look around and see whatever deals they may have. But mostly just I go straight to what I need and then go to the checkout
Okay.
line and then leave.
Cause, cause I went just because I was out shopping at other places, and I was passing one, and I needed to replace the CO container for my Soda Stream, and I found out that Best Buy was one of those places there where they could refill it. And
Nice.
like the person at customer service had no idea what I was talking about. And
Jesus.
then it was just
Now
like,
this is an official thing that they've advertised that they can do, right?
I mean, nobody advertises that they can recycle Soda Streams. You just have to, if you have a Soda Stream, you look at their website. It's like, okay, you can exchange it at these places. So it's like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and
Oh,
maybe a few
cool.
other places, because they don't want people throwing away things that potentially could explode and just putting them in the garbage. So I took the little container there. He couldn't figure out what I was talking about. Then he finally figured it out. He just was looking up
Stupid
stuff
as
on his
fuck.
computer, and then so I got the new one, and then he was like, "Oh, you can take that. We don't take these sides." I was like, "Well, they say exchange, so you're supposed to take it." That's the whole purpose of me coming here, because it's like, well, otherwise I'm just gonna go out and toss it in the garbage,
Tossing the garbage.
and then maybe a trash truck is gonna pick it up and compact it, and it's gonna explode. So that's what they don't want. Um,
That's why you take your used car battery to AutoZone or wherever.
Well, that's for people who change their car
Yeah,
battery.
get a
I've
ten
yet
ten
to
dollar
change my car battery.
$10 gift card like I got last month.
I know you're
Anyway,
supposed to also be able to do that at like with ink cartridges, take them to like Office Max or Depot or whatever.
I
Uh,
never do that.
yeah, I tried that once, and I think they were supposed they instead they just sent me. They were supposed to send me like a check for whatever the amount was, and I don't think I ever got that check. But whatever. But yeah, I was just looking around in Best Buy after I did this exchange, and it was like a ghost town in there. Like, number one, just like there's nobody in there, and like I've always had this problem with Best Buy, even like when it was active, that I could barely ever find somebody, or the people who were on the floor working were like the dudes were like talking to a woman for extra long just because it's a woman. It's like, hey, I actually know what I'm looking for, and I'm not just gonna chat you up all day. Like, can you help me?
Okay, is this like a Best Buy problem at large, or is this just this specific Best Buy that you?
I've been to I've been to one multiple Best Buys in my area. One of them doesn't exist anymore, and it's partially because
Mm.
the problem
Amazon is
it
putting everyone out of business.
yeah, and we'll get to there's more on that later, but it's just like they always like, even when I do get somebody's attention, they never know what the hell I'm asking about. Even like simple questions like in the past where I've asked about like comparing computers, and I don't even attempt to do that now with these people because it's just like I know more about all
It's
of this
like,
stuff than they
yeah,
do.
exactly, exactly. It's like I know more than these fucking people do, and you know they're just a bunch of high school kids. And
Yeah, but that's the problem is just like they don't. To me, it seems like they don't want people who actually have the knowledge because like I've applied to Best Buy a few times in the past. Like now that I have a steady full time job, I haven't applied, but like I, at least two times I was rejected for Best Buy. I was like, what is your threshold that I didn't meet? Because all these people who are in the store actively working, I ask them one question and they always figure it out with me. It's like I could do this on my own. Like, where are PC games? Simple questions like, and they just walk around looking for them with me. It's like, all right, thanks a lot. And then only to find out they barely have any PC games left in the store.
nope. I only go to like Best Buy mostly to like buy Blu-rays like or like maybe God, if I really need, if I need to buy a new TV for whatever reason, I'll go there. Just if I need it immediately. Otherwise, I just buy it, on Amazon or online.
I mean, yeah, that's one of the few things I will buy like
Headphones and
in
stuff.
person. I bought like this 3D TV that I'm using as my monitor right now. I bought that at Best Buy just because it was a deal. But
Because
other
where
than
else are you gonna buy it?
yeah,
Buy like a
other than
TV.
large things I want to buy in person, like they don't really have anything else for me.
If you need a TV, like where else are you gonna get it? If you need it like immediately,
I mean,
what
um,
other stores can you
I mean,
think of?
what situation are you in where you're like, I need TV right now? You don't have
Well,
one,
yeah, I broke my TV and I gotta watch the pay-per-view. The Money in the Bank is tonight.
so I need a TV right now for that. Yeah, I haven't been in that situation. I have at least like if I break my main TV, I have at least two other TVs that I could just swap out for. You know, and I'll just be like, I'll get one in a month or two when I save up for it. But I haven't been in that situation in a while.
Well, Zach, people aren't as luxurious as you. Where they only have one TV. They're not
I
Mr.
mean,
Big
it's not
Shot.
like these TVs didn't cost an arm and a leg. They were both my main TVs were Black Friday deals on different Black Fridays. I
Good
mean, I
old
think the
Westinghouse.
I mean, this one I'm watching, this 3D TV was an LG. I actually got it after Black Friday. It was just like, nobody cares about 3D TVs. Let's drop this one to $400. I'm like, sure, I'll buy it. Um, but yeah, so Best Buy, I'm surprised they're still hanging on because like at its peak, Circuit City was one of my favorite stores to go to,
Mine too.
and it closed. And Best Buy is like I have an aversion to going to Best
Off to
Buy at this
Circuit
point.
City, where service is state of the art.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was looking back at it. It was like I I feel like mine closed even earlier than all the rest of them, but um, like I always enjoyed it. Plus, like the entrance was just like a big plug. It's
Yeah.
just a cool design. It seemed like a special place, and I think that was one of the places where you could actually get components. Like if you were actually making something, like like a Radio Shack style. Like if you're soldering audio cables, you can go get the little pieces there. And like Best Buy doesn't seem to specialize in anything. It's just like we got TVs, which Target also
Random
has.
shit.
We got
Cell
MP3.
phones and
Yeah, it's just like Target and Walmart has everything that you have in this store. So
Circuit City. I went to was at North Riverside on like
okay,
Berwyn.
I like the repurposing of this one Circuit City. It's now uh,
Supermarket.
no, there's one in on the south side that's one of those. I forgot what the hell that college is. It's one of those for-profit colleges. Uh,
University of Phoenix.
no, is it
Northwestern
Westwood?
Business. Westwood.
Yeah, and they just it's exactly the same shape as Circuit City. There's that big plug entrance, but they redesigned it. It's just like, oh, That's a cute way to. Uh, I like when things are used,
That's what I was gonna say. It's always
recycled.
fun to sort of like, well, they clearly that used to be a White Castle's and now it's a chicken
Yeah,
place.
it's
Or
just
that
like
used to be a Wendy's and now it's a fucking gas station.
yeah, because there was this Burger King that got turned into a Sharks uh, fish and chicken place. It was just like
Yeah,
this looks exactly like a Burger King on the inside. And I went in there one day. I was just like, man, you didn't clean or anything. It's just
right.
like, man, this place is it's even worse.
This
Um,
church's chicken is a currency exchange.
yeah, I think I've run into a few like, well, not currency exchange, but like title loan places will just take any building they can get. Like I said, one of them used to be the KFC that was my first job. It's now a title loan place. Just so many, like, and there's too many of those. It's just like
Yeah, man.
it's like liquor stores in the black community. Just like, why are you doing this
Beau-
to us?
Beauty supply places, fucking taco fucking joints.
I mean, at least a beauty supply place has a purpose. It's not like
Yeah, because
it's not like a
black
scourge of
women
the
need that.
community.
They need their hair weave. They need that. They gotta look white.
Hey, some people go there for makeup. Um, but anyway, um, what else do we have in the news this week? Oh, there was
Uh,
the Spider-Man trailer and stuff from E3.
for PS4 exclusive for you Xbox owners such as myself.
I hate that. Um, yeah, it looks great, and that's like
Yeah, you
and
saw the whole video. I think it was like an 8+ minute of gameplay.
I don't think I watched the whole thing, but I saw enough to know I'm gonna be really angry when that comes out. Um, and
Hate that shit.
that's the and that's one of like my few little extra points of like I have very narrow gaming focus, like either pretty looking platformers or fighting games every so often and wrestling games. But like
Street Fighter 5 is a PS4 exclusive too. That pissed me off from
yeah,
last year.
that doesn't make any sense. But it's like of the few games that I play, like Spider-Man games have always been like my favorite because it's like the most open world game you could ever
Did you
play.
play the beloved Spider-Man 2 from what was it from 2004? I never
I'm
played
sure
it,
I
but people
did.
talk about how great it was.
I'm pretty sure I did. I think I've played all the Spider-Man games since the NES, or Super NES. Well, I don't think I played the one where you could play as Venom or whatever, but I've always
I had like a
enjoyed those.
shitty Spider-Man game for the Wii. I forgot
So
what it was called.
is it like you swing your arms to actually swing around, or what was?
Probably
Okay,
I forgot what it was called, but
yeah,
yeah.
but I've always enjoyed Spider-Man games. Just like swinging around, even if you're not doing any of the missions or whatever, it's just like swinging through the city and jumping off of buildings and stuff. That's always fun. So I'm gonna have to just relive that experience and buy one of the old games for Xbox. Um, but yeah, that game looks fun. Um, there was a lot of footage from Marvel versus Capcom too. Trying to think, I don't know what system that's on. Hopefully that's cross-platform.
I know you saw the Super Mario Odyssey. See, I'm trying to stay away from watching footage of that specifically because
Okay,
I'm gonna probably end up buying that when it comes out,
so
and I think it's
that's
like
gonna be
October.
your thing that makes you buy the Switch.
Yeah, then I'll get Zelda Breath of the Wind and the repurposed Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or whatever the fuck it's called.
Okay.
They have more games out by then too.
Yeah, and you'll be able to get Zelda for cheaper then too.
Yeah, that's one.
I'm trying to think. I finally bought 2K17 WWE 2K17
Oh,
because
you bought it.
I was tired. Well, I had 16. That was the one I had free on games with gold because I was thinking of potentially canceling my Xbox Live subscription.
I just signed up for a 14-day free trial. I think yesterday.
You had one of those codes. I
No, it was just a free trial, and I made
okay.
sure to cancel my membership. Well, cancel the auto renewal.
Yeah.
So So
Yeah,
now I
cause
can play 2K 2017 again.
okay, because like I hate that aspect of it. It's like you have to have the subscription just to play this game. Just like
This game you downloaded and shit.
yeah, it's like it's taking up 5% of my hard drive, but I can't play it. Like that's ridiculous. I just bought the new version. It was still like $26, which still more than I wanted to pay for an old game, but I got it. And now I have to recreate my wrestler all over again.
Oh god, your face.
Yeah, it's weird the way they do it now. Like they changed whatever was from the last version. So like they used to have like the face templates, like just generic faces that you could switch, and then put your face on top of that. But they just have like the same face for every character. So it basically just default looks like John Cena. So I had to put my face on top of that John Cena face and then warp it.
Your favorite wrestler.
Yeah, so it's like now my face is like I don't know, it's just like sharper, and I didn't feel like doing all the work to like fix all that, so it looks more like my brother. But
Free
it's good
agent.
enough. Free agent
Free
John
agent
Cena
John
returns to
Cena.
SmackDown. It's like, well, why return
July
to
the 4th.
SmackDown? Because you're a free agent now. Just go to Raw. And also, who gives a shit? uh,
Exactly. God, just go the fuck away. You and your damn fiance.
yeah. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else to talk about before we touched briefly on wrestling? Uh,
Cars 3, number one movie at the box office, made 53.5 million. So big. Finally, the little kids have a film to see
finally,
for after all
there's
these
not.
weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Captain Underpants if they want to see a grown man running around in his underwear. Um,
Let's see. I think Wonder Woman came in second place, but I think it only fell like 30% from last week. It has a very strong hold, as they
it's pretty
say in
good.
the movie
This
business.
was
It
it
made
like the third week.
yeah, it made 40.8 million. Its American total is up to 274.6 million. It has crossed 600 million globally.
Okay, all right.
Uh,
Good for Wonder Woman.
the surprise of the week. All Eyes on Me came in third place with 27.1,
That's gonna
but
drop immediately.
yes, immediately.
Yeah,
The Mummy came in fourth place with 13.9.
he's still
Uh,
hanging in there. At least
yeah, it was a rough going for Sony's raunchy female comedy Rough Night, the
I
R-rated.
actually wanted to see that. That was the one movie I was considering watching
I
this week,
I, I didn't give a shit.
but instead I'll watch it on Broke Ass Tuesday.
No, you'll watch it on 1, 2, 3. Oh, never mind. Uh, and it made
Shut up. If
8.1.
that's not even a domain anymore. Um,
It sure isn't. Exactly. I said that on purpose so people wouldn't know going.
all right.
It made 8.1 million. Uh, Rough Night was actually beat by this movie 47 Meters Down. This
Yeah,
shark movie,
was just basically the Mandy Moore version of that Blake
The
Lively movie that
Shallows.
came out. Yeah, The Shallows. It's
I
just
like that movie. I saw it on
obviously
cable. It
saw
was
it.
pretty good. Yeah,
I was
it was
interested in seeing it, but I
it
didn't
was
get around to it.
surprisingly good.
Yeah, it seemed like one of those movies. Like speaking of numbers, like what was it, 147 hours? Like the James Franco movie,
Where it's
like
just
one of the.
her, one person by themselves trying to
Yeah,
survive.
yeah, it looked interesting to me, so I'll check that out at some point. But yeah, this just looks like a the the Asylum mockbuster version of that. Just like they make all their like transmorphers after Transformers comes.
Wasn't there?
It's
There was
pretty
like a
much the same thing.
fucking some Russian Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff. I think it was just called
This is called
Guardians.
Guardians. Was that exactly what? Because I think I saw a trailer for that a while back. Wasn't there like a giant bear man or something
Yeah,
like
some
that?
shit like that.
Because Russians really love bears.
That's
Um,
sort of like their cross between Rocket Raccoon and
the
the
Hulk.
the the Bautista character
Okay,
from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Bear Tista. Um, but yeah, I might need to check that one. Oh, speaking of like asylum or weird, crazy horror movies, there's a new show. I think it's supposed to be on Sci-Fi, but I watched it on demand. But there's a show called Blood Drive. Have you heard about this show?
Yes, I have. That's on. It's like one of those. God, what the fuck did the whole Rodriguez thing that he
It
did? The
yeah the
Grindhouse.
yeah it's from that company, I guess. But it looks like it would be on what's his network called El Rey.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be on Sci-Fi.
Yeah, it's on
Actually.
Sci-Fi, but it's like it's really raunchy, and there was like fucking in it. It's just and it's
That
cars
is
that eat
raunchy.
people, like so. Yeah, I mean, because I watched the first episode, I think I saw pubic hair and an ass, and there's a lot of stuff that I was like, you could
Your
show this on
favorites.
the side. And it was male pubic hair, so I wasn't a fan. But plus it was blonde. But yeah, but it's beside the point. It was it's an interesting show. Like, cause I kind of fell out of interest with the Dusk Till Dawn series. I watched the first
Yeah.
season of that, and then I started getting bored. But this is just like it seems like a cross between that as far as quality and like Z Nation of just like the cheesy gore, but like much better CG than Z Nation because Z Nation is just like
Walking Dead ripoff.
yeah, just B movie quality Walking Dead ripoff. But yes, I've enjoyed it so far. You see a lot of people get ground up into cars in a in a Mad Max
Quality
style.
kills, my
Yeah,
friend. Quality kills.
and I like how they pitch it in the trailer and in the first episode. They're like, in the distant future of 1999. It's like okay, so yeah, that show is a weird show worth watching if you just want to see blood sprayed everywhere on screen.
Hey, we got a new Transformers movie coming out Wednesday. Transformers: The Last Night.
Does
Will
this
you
mean
be?
it's going to actually be the last one?
I hope so.
Uh,
But didn't Michael Bay say some shit about he had like five more movies or
why?
gotta squeeze that juice out, man?
Because there's always another model, and there's always another set of toys that need to be sold.
Mark
So
Wahlberg bringing it full circle.
yeah, at least now I have a reason. Like, you know what? Fuck that guy. I'm not gonna see that movie for that
Yeah,
reason.
exactly.
Now it can be a stand, other than just having taste. Um,
Two
but
things you
yeah,
hate in one place. Awesome.
yeah. I think I would have never seen another Transformers movie if that one hadn't been shot in Chicago. And I was just like, well, I saw all these sets and I actually walked through them, so it would be cool to see it on screen. But that was still a waste of time. Um, I think that one
One
was
more
Dark of the
thing
Moon.
that I want to mention. You you found this story about this YouTuber guy named Austin Jones. Who the fuck is Austin Jones?
I have no idea. It's always funny, and I feel out of touch when I find out like this guy's the biggest guy on YouTube. It's like
There, but
I
they
have
say
no
that
idea.
about there's so
Yeah,
many damn people.
like
Like,
there's only one
oh,
person that actually qualifies with, and that's PewDiePie. Who I think he actually has the most subscribers. Other than that, it's just like hyperbole. But
I only
I've
know
only
like I Justine and like a
I
couple
don't
of
even know
other
iJustine. I just
Chris
know
Stuckman.
friends of iJustine. Like I know Black Nerd Comedy, and I think he hangs out with iJust. But I don't know who this guy Austin Jones is, but apparently he had some like 14-year-old fans who like I don't know if they sent him a video or something, or there was something where they were chatting and they were like, "We're your biggest fans," and he's like, "Prove it." And then his his way of having to prove it is to make it clap, which is just disgusting.
Ah,
So now he's being tried
but
for
did he
I'm
ask them specifically to send that stuff, or did he just said prove it, and then
he
they just sort of
he said prove it and then says make it clap.
oh okay.
So and I think they say he actually like described it because they're young and they didn't actually know what he was talking about. So I think he like directed them on how to like twerk. So now he's being tried for. I'm assuming this would be soliciting child pornography, or basically that's what he did. So
Twerking isn't sexually explicit. You can't prove that in court.
I mean, I'm not gonna ask any 14-year-olds to twerk on video
Sure,
for my channel, so
I think
I'll
that'll be a
never
tough
find.
case to prove.
I mean, I think it's pretty documented, so I guess we will see. We will follow the updates on on this trial as it occurs. The
On
people
that note,
versus Austin Jones. On that note, let's talk about Roman Reigns. Wait, no, Money in the Bank is a SmackDown pay per view, right?
yes, but we can still talk about Roman.
All right. Do you have the card or anything?
Yeah, I know that the goddamn pre-match is gonna be the hype bros. Zack Ryder is recovered from his knee exploding without like last fall, so it's
Oh yeah, I
him and
remember.
Mojo
Mojo,
Riley versus they're the clones now, Zach. They're not the
the
shining
colons.
stars.
They're instead of the chocolate starfish, they are now the colons. I mean, so it's still the same part of the anatomy. Um, all right, it's nice they wedged this one onto the pre-show, which nobody cared to see any either of these teams on the pay-per-view. Also, like, what wasn't there a whole like subplot of Mojo Rawley like fighting his way up, like I want to be a top guy, and he's back in his
Yeah,
tag team.
they're like there may be the chance that Mojo turns on Zack Ryder or Zack Ryder turns on Mojo or something
I
here
feel
because
like it would make more sense for Ryder to turn,
yeah.
but then because like this like underdog working his way from the bottom up story of Mojo wouldn't make sense as a heel, because if you're a heel jobber on SmackDown, you just shoot straight to the main event and win the title. So that wouldn't work for him.
And they can't be a tag team anymore because obviously Mojo won the Andre the Giant Memorial, blah blah blah, and he's a solo
Also,
wrestler
uh,
at
and
this point.
I only know about this from podcasts, but I think there was a match where Zack Ryder won the two of them the number one contendership for the
Yeah,
tag
that's
titles.
the match where his knee blew out.
Yeah, but he like won the contendership by himself in that match. So it would make sense that could be his motivation for turning on him. Also, they should probably have that title match since they are number one contenders on record somewhere. But who knows?
We have the first. Uh, well, I get in terms of like the order of the card. We have Lana versus Naomi, the reigning women's title holder in a match. Do you
Yeah,
think this will be god awful or
I mean,
surprisingly good?
just quickly to because we haven't talked about this on this podcast for a while. I've been talking about it on my frustrated wrestling fan videos, but just to talk about the logic of that, like Lana was so much of a joke that Naomi laughed at the possibility of her being in the Money in the Bank, and she was so upset about this that she challenges her to a direct title shot.
That's fucking stupid.
She's like, well, that means Lana has the potential of being the champ before any of these women in the Money in the Bank. So that doesn't make sense. I mean, if depending on where how they structure the card, I could see Lana winning the title and then immediately being cashed in
Yeah.
on. So that could
Like,
be exciting.
what are your thoughts on Naomi's title reign?
I mean, it has been lackluster, not for lack of her being a good wrestler and good character. It was just like they're just focused on everything else other than her as soon as she won the title.
How many times has she actually like defended the title or had any? She hasn't been in like a program
No.
with anyone.
It's just like she won the title and immediately they were like, you know what? We have ideas for all these other people. It's like they've been dominating the show. The welcoming committee versus what team NBC. I mean, I guess she's been in that and that she's been tagging with them versus the FemWO.
But she's
But
like the goal is to get to the belts, the
yeah,
women's title belt.
and it doesn't make sense that that Charlotte, who came over there, is like, I want the belt right now. She's just cool with tagging with the champion every week. It's like, don't you like? Aren't you done with this? Uh, so yeah, that logic is kind of out the window. Hopefully, I think it's gonna get more exciting after the Money in the Bank because I'm assuming they're gonna be more singles focused. When you have one person that has a guaranteed title shot, you're not gonna want to tag with this person all the time because it's like, well, now I need to uh, focus on getting the title myself. Well, who knows?
Do you think Naomi will be good in the ring? I think she's only had like one match televised, and that was at WrestleMania 32
Well, since
last year.
coming back from
She's been in NXT
injury.
and stuff, training for this for the past couple of
Oh, you
months.
mean Lana?
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know. I haven't seen any of it, so I don't know her potential as an in ring competitor. I've seen Instagram pictures of like her in the ring or pictures on Twitter, but I don't I don't know. So it'll be a surprise to me. It,
Blonde Eva Marie.
yeah, it's basically the same story. Like I've seen Eva Marie like doing suicide dives on Instagram, but then like she never debuted on the main roster really. Uh, and now she seems like she's gone now.
Okay, so speed through this. We have the New Day versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. I uh, I don't see why the New Day would lose here,
I mean, I think they should win, but I'm
unless
enjoying
they
the
win like a really
Usos.
long program of them trying to get the belt.
Yeah, I would assume like in the long term they would win, but they probably wouldn't win this first one because the Usos are really good now, and it's the first time I can say that in years. Like they actually let them talk, and they're talking like real people, not like wrestlers. So I'm enjoying the back and forth with them, so they can keep that going for a little while longer.
But like the New Day, they're very over with the crowd,
Yeah,
obviously, and
I
they're
mean
like
they don't
a
need the belts for that though.
they're a heck of an acquisition for SmackDown Live. So
Yeah, I feel
you
like
don't want to make them look bad or
I
look
mean you don't
weak
want to make them
initially.
look bad, but you know the Usos are heels, so there's gonna be shenanigans of how they win probably.
Then we have let's see here. We have the first ever women's Money in the Bank match: Becky Lynch versus Charlotte versus Natalia versus Carmella, featuring James Ellsworth. Faces Tamina in this match. So who do you think is going to win?
James Ellsworth.
Yeah, I know
I
you're the
mean,
one
I
of
think
5 million people to make that joke.
I mean of course, but I think he's going to help Carmella win because
You think Carmella's going to win?
I feel like she's the X factor out of all of this because everybody's like gotten into the title picture on their own besides like Tamina, and she's never going to get the title. So I feel like she's the only person who there would be excitement around her sitting in the shadows with the Money in the Bank title because she has interest and she can get the heat as being like, I miss Money in the Bank. I don't feel like anybody else really has that potential because like either they're baby faces or they're people we don't want to see win. Like the other two heel as an option are Natalia and Tamina, and nobody wants to see that. And it's
You
not
say
really
it
a
makes
baby face
sense.
thing.
But you say it makes sense, which is why it probably won't happen.
There you go. I mean, I think they're behind Carmella because like as a heel, like she was really bad as a baby face, but since she's turned, she's been a good heel. So I feel like this would only enhance that character. So who knows? Plus, she has a guy to carry her briefcase around for her, so it makes sense. It's a you could see the visual of it already.
I mean, I could see like
You don't want to see Charlotte walking around with a briefcase. It's just like you've been champion like 20 times. Why do you need a briefcase this time? Yeah.
yeah, Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal for the WWE World Championship. I see no reason for Randy Orton to win here. If they're really going to go all in with this Jinder Mahal thing, then it
Yeah,
would
I
be
mean it's
stupid.
probably gonna be. And plus, they have to follow their pattern of having someone get beat in their hometown. This is just like
Yeah.
a WWE tradition.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
The crowd is like loving it, and they're like rooting for the hometown person, and like you have
yeah,
all
like
that energy.
squash all that.
Everybody boos and goes home unhappy. Oh, and this isn't even like the last match of the show, so you got this
Yeah,
pissed off crowd for the Money in the Bank match.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that's better because it's all you're gonna be thinking about. If it was after the Money in the Bank, you're just like, who's gonna cash in on Gender, and it's just gonna be like the lamest cash in ever if that was the case. So you can't end with this match anyway. Also, like, my main prediction for this match is,
The
uh,
Singh
you,
brothers will do some shit.
well, yeah, that, but you say you listen to Brian Alvarez, right?
Hmm.
My prediction for this match is -5 stars.
Stars.
Yeah,
Oh, you think it's gonna be terrible?
how could it not? Um,
I mean, their match that they had for the belt when Jinder won last month. I mean, it wasn't god awful. Or
I mean, I don't remember anything from it other than Randy Orton making both of the Singh brothers do shooting star presses over the announce table.
on top of one of their heads.
Yeah,
Even he had to cringe.
he had a legit cringe boy like, ugh. That's like one of my favorite moments in recent wrestling history. It's just like, oh shit, I think I killed the guy. I mean, he was responsible for it himself, over accelerating like that, but it was still funny. um, but yeah, so that match, I don't have any anticipation for. It could go either way as far as I'm concerned. But with the rumor of John Cena returning and potentially beating Jinder for his record-breaking 17th
That's such a
title,
cliche. And he's like Mr. America. And
yeah, it's like, no, you can't have a record breaking title reign over a jobber. So either Orton has to get the title before that happens, and they're on a time crunch now because it has to be before July 4th probably, or they have to have the Money in the Bank winner just cash in on whoever and take it before that, only to
why would they?
lose it again immediately.
Why would they have John Cena date come back on July the 4th and nobody's watching TV?
Because they think he's enough of a draw where he will pull people in the house from their barbecues. They're like, you know what? Forget all this family shit. Let's
All
go
this good
watch
food and this,
wrestling.
all this beer and
Let's
like
go
having
inside and
fun.
watch John Cena wrestle. But yeah, good luck with that, USA. You would think the network was enough to draw people. Like, we're the USA network. You should be watching us all day 4th of July. But it's not the
Is that what
case.
US stands for? USA.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Kevin Owens versus Baron Corbin versus AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Who you got?
Shinsuke Nakamura. Um,
He's the artist.
yeah, he's a literal artist now.
He's the rock star.
Yeah, he's gonna come out with a guitar next.
Stupid.
And one thing we talked about before, because we haven't talked about Shinsuke a lot since he debuted, but before he debuted, we talked about the fact that they always cheap out on production value as soon as somebody comes from NXT to the main roster, and we have not seen that violinist once. I mean, we've seen him on his debut, but that was it, and then never again. So like,
They're just turning him into like just another
he's just a dude.
goof. Yeah.
Yeah. And his like Titantron is horrible. It's just like just generic background with bright yellow letters. Shinsuke Nakamura. Like no highlight footage or anything. It's just like it just looks like a
He hasn't
generic
done
person.
anything in the WWE, Zach. It's
Yeah.
his WWE debut.
He still hasn't. And he may potentially get a stupid prop to carry around to make him look more of a goof. I don't know. You have any predictions on who will win this one?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say that they're gonna give it to Sami Zayn.
I mean, I could see it, and I've heard that, but I really hate the character that they've given Sami Zayn. And I was hoping it was over when he left Raw, but it's like he's still having that like neurotic Jewish character when I think Sami Zayn is actually a Muslim. But that's
He's Canadian.
yeah, I think he's a Canadian Muslim though. But he's basically a Woody Allen is his gimmick. Like, well, he had to size up the competition. You know, this guy could do this and da. So like I've heard the joke of he would win the Money in the Bank, and then we're just gonna see vignettes of him like strategizing on how he'll cash in, and it's just gonna be that super annoying character running through scenarios. So I don't. That would be terrible television if that's what happens, but
I mean,
he
Kevin
seems like
Owens.
a
He's already
likely. Yeah, he's
Owens
a
is
champ.
already
Yeah.
yeah. He's the U.S. champ.
I
Like
mean,
Baron Corbin. That would be horrible if Baron Corbin won.
yeah, like I said, Baron Corbin is just like he is not a main event guy, or he's like a
uh,
placeholder. He's like Kane. So
just has
I don't
no
want to see.
presence,
Yeah,
no
so
personality.
I don't want to see him with the Money in the Bank briefcase. He should be one of those guys. Like they don't even really have these anymore. It's like old school guys like Roddy Piper or somebody like that who never won the title. Should probably be one of those guys. Uh,
Oh,
Although Roddy Piper had enough personality where it wouldn't have hurt them
yes,
to
he
put it
did.
on him, but like uh, I don't want to see Baron Corbin with that. So
He should be like one of these guys who are like these big, tough enforcer guys that just never talks. Or
yeah, he he should be. I don't know.
says one or two words.
I would say like maybe he needs somebody like Paul Heyman, but that'd still be kind of a waste because it's just like, well, you can hype this guy up, but he's still not really going to do anything impressive after all the build up anyway. So you know, um, but I'm trying to think.
AJ Styles.
AJ, like he's a legit main eventer, and he's won the title just by being good. So it would kind of diminish him by giving him a briefcase. Like I want him to just win it again. But I guess Sami Zayn seems like the most likely contender for it because like he hasn't got to that point yet, and the mentality usually of WWE is like we want to get this guy over as a main guy, so let's make him a main guy, and then it'll eventually work itself out. Versus like let's have him build his character to the point where people want him to be a main guy. So they're probably just gonna be like, yeah, hey, he's number one contender now, so deal with it.
So what you're saying is that Dolph Ziggler, a former winner, has no shot.
No, and he shouldn't. Like he's been before the superstar shakeup, he was the worst part of SmackDown. Now he's just one of the many bad parts of SmackDown. So I don't think he needs this at all.
Heel Ziggler.
Yeah, he had Hollywood heel on his tights on the last episode of SmackDown.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
That's how much I cared.
yeah. I mean, when there's nothing interesting going on in the ring, you start looking at stuff like that. And I had not been watching SmackDown for a long time, but until I decided, you know what, I'm gonna double down on my New Year's resolution of making one video a week. I'm gonna make a video a day, and so I started reaching for material. So I had to start watching SmackDown.
They really, really miss like Dean Ambrose and especially The Miz.
Yeah, they're. I feel like they're kind of hurting, and for the show, the shorter show to feel tedious is not a good look. So yeah, that's Money in the Bank. We're brimming with excitement, can't you tell?
I like how you said
Um, Also, I hate the dynamic of JBL with Byron Saxton again. Like he
that.
was trying to
Oh,
be polite for the first episode, and Byron came over. Now he's back to saying, "I hate you, Byron. I wish you die." So like,
Jesus.
it's like, I would make a wish, but you still be here. So it's just like, I hate that.
And then you're like trying
Fire
to decide.
Bradshaw.
decipher whether or not he's joking or not.
I don't think he is because like they've even started to joke about like the whole bullying thing with Mauro Ranallo because like I think on the most recent episode of SmackDown he was like, "Well, I've been known to say controversial things on Bring It to the Table." This is just like, well, we know what you're hinting at because that's one of the main
Ham
reasons.
fisted.
Yeah. So, fire
When is
Bradshaw. I hope those
when is
chants
Otunga
continue.
gonna come back to? I know because I know that Booker
Booker
T
T
is
was
like
filling in for him
filling
because
in.
you need
He's
the
shooting a
position
movie.
of colored commentator. um, apparently, he announced briefly on the pre-show for the last Raw pay-per-view, but he just didn't do the main show. So I heard that the rumor is that they might decide not to bring Otunga on at all and just leave Booker T there. Uh,
They don't have to have three fucking. You don't need a
no,
heel announcer and a babyface announcer.
I think the I don't think it has worked on either show, and I think the best combination of them uh was Morrow, Otunga, and who was the third man on their table?
JBL.
No, it was before JBL went over there. I forgot who the third person was,
Wasn't
but
Corey Graves? Wasn't Tom Phillips?
no, it was somebody, and then it was Tom Phillips on top of those three. I forgot who it was. It was Morrow, somebody in JBL,
I
but I
mean,
felt like
before when it went live, it was JBL, Moro, and Otunga.
yeah,
I don't remember who it was before.
yeah. So I
It
guess
was
that was the
what?
combination, but I
Yeah.
felt like it was okay because JBL wasn't in full bully mode, but they could have gotten rid of JBL at any point. Uh, so I feel like on the SmackDown side, they should probably get rid of JBL. On the Raw side, they could probably get rid of Booker T. Although, thinking about it, the dynamic that I liked the best was Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Byron Saxton because they had the JBL Saxton dynamic, but it wasn't mean. It seemed like they were actually friends. They're just like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, Corey Graves was playing the heel commentator, but he wasn't saying like, "I hope you die, fellow commentator Byron Saxton."
No,
He
but
was
he
just
was
like
still doing the whole,
he was making fun of him for being a
Byron
dork.
Saxon and stuff.
He was just
But he would
teasing
say
him for
stuff
being
like that, like
dorky.
I hope you just. He would say stuff like that too.
It didn't seem as mean spirited as like the meanest stuff I've heard from Corey Graves was like when he's talking about Enzo. Like he has a special microphone so nobody catches what he has. Like I enjoyed that stuff from Corey Graves. Um, Corey Graves, by the way, is becoming my favorite commentator across all the shows. So uh, they need to.
Even
Everybody else needs to
even
step up their game.
even even with the did you see Raw with the whole Bailey interview?
Yeah, I thought that his part of it was funny. It was really weird from Bailey's perspective, but I just like how he sat there and took the hug, just like, yeah, okay.
Do you think that they're gonna do like some like romance crush angle with
There,
Bailey and Corey?
there's a rumor that that's what's happening. I hope not,
I hope
because
not. They've
currently,
already destroyed their character enough.
yeah, Bailey sucks now. And then without literally sucking, which is coming up, but they're like currently besides the Bailey thing, I've enjoyed everything that Corey Graves has been doing in these past couple weeks. Like, I hope he's actually the one orchestrating the Enzo and Cass breakup, which it seems like it's gonna be because he really hates Enzo. So I hope he's involved in that, and he's also involved in the Kurt Angle stuff, which is
Are
just
you?
like, what is that? It's like they're talking about me doing drugs. That's all I can think. That's
It's probably going to be something where it's going to be him and Triple H at WrestleMania,
what.
and
Yeah, they say that's what it's leading
Stephanie is
to.
going to be involved.
Yeah, that's not the payoff that I was hoping for, but like the intrigue of it and the Corey Graves involvement has been good, but it's gonna peter out when the authority comes back.
Real quick, what did you think about the Norm Dar Cedric Alexander match
Alicia
with
Fox
with,
on FaceTime.
Alicia Fox?
It's just it's horrible. Like in a time where the cruiserweights are like
Listen to me.
tune
Listen
out
to me.
TV. Yeah, like people already want to tune out when the cruiserweights are wrestling. So now you have Alicia Fox shrieking throughout the match, the very short match. That's even more reason to get up and go to the bathroom. Also, like why was she just piped into the arena
Yeah,
speakers?
that
Like
doesn't make any sense.
what's the point of that? Like, and it's weird because when Tyler Breeze was on Raw, they wouldn't do that for his entrance where he literally needed the like FaceTime thing to be put onto the screen, and they just got lazy and stopped doing that. And now they're doing it for some random segment with Alicia Fox. It's stupid.
Alicia Fox versus Sasha Banks program,
Yeah.
current program.
Like Alicia Fox could be something if they just had her wrestle and stop doing this stupid gimmick. But like she seems to just be like a holdover from that time where like uh,
The Divas
women were
Revolution.
divas. Yeah.
Kelly,
Just
Kelly, Kelly, and her came up at the same time.
yeah, so she just seems like one of those type of divas in this world of women. So it doesn't really fit.
Michelle McCool and God, who was the other the
Mrs.
British
Undertaker,
one?
you mean? Layla.
Yeah, Layla.
Lay Cool. I mean, at least they were entertaining. They were like New Day before the New Day. But yeah,
Do you do you think that like Sasha Banks did something like behind the scenes that that has made like Vince angry and like she's being punished?
I mean, I don't know. There's always those type of rumors, like some this person's in the doghouse, and that's where they're getting this shimmy.
They have heat, atomic heat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that. Hopefully, it's just them wanting to protect her and not get her injured again. Like you fight this, you can have a program with Alicia Fox just to hold you over for a while. Because that's one thing I was thankful for with the women's Money in the Bank is that it wasn't on Raw, because like Sasha Banks always, uh, I feel like she is one of those wrestlers who has a chip on her shoulder, so I feel like she would really fight to have a top rope or dive off of the ladder spot. She's like she's gonna break herself in half. So I'm glad that she's not involved in this.
Sasha and what's his face? What the hell is his name? They get the dancing
Rich Swan,
Rich
who's
Swan,
like
who makes those damn whenever he like he makes those dumb faces when he like wins and stuff. The creepy.
yeah, it's always like there's always like slobber in his beard. Um, and what's the thing about them wanting to make married black cruiserweights pair off with romantic interests on screen? It's like Cedric Alexander. It sounds like a major plot point of his story in the Cruiserweight Classic that he was doing this for his wife, and I think he has a child, and then they just pair him off with a woman on screen. It's like, hey, this that doesn't sound right. And Rich Swan, who just got married to an Asian woman, is like teasing this relationship with Sasha Banks. So that doesn't really seem right.
Alicia Four.
Fox.
That is funny.
Noam Dar is a horrible wrestler. And a friend of mine, commentator Maxwell Baumbach, really hates Noam Dar. Like if
Oh,
you listen to RBR wrestling talk, he's just gone on tirades about how horrible Noam Dar is and that he has no charisma. And it's just like it
jeez.
basically he hates everything about him. And uh, like I don't want to keep this going for too much longer, but that damn Pizza Hut uh, commercial with him and the club, like these three guys who have looked like complete goofs on TV, just cement that status in this horrible product placement. Like, was he gonna fuck that pizza? Was that the?
Yeah, just like Enzo was gonna fuck that chicken, the KFC
I
chicken.
forgot about that. This is like, what does this think of like people wanting to have sex with their product placement?
Greasy fast food. I don't know.
Because that was I forget. I think it was in the RBR neighborhood Facebook group. They were talking about that segment. They were like, "Well, hey, the pizza doesn't stuff itself," which I appreciate that joke. But that's enough about wrestling for this week. Um, Was there anything else to touch on before we give out our
No.
deets? All right. So approaching the 2 hour mark, uh, tell everybody where they can tweet at you
You can
throughout
tweet
the
me at
week.
Anthony Hoffman on Twitter. Find me on Facebook, Anthony Hoffman, and my Instagram is Tony Hoffman Shy. Tony Hoffman CHI. Tony Hoffman Shy.
And I am on Twitter at Zach Reviews. That's ZAC Reviews. And you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Zach Hughes. Facebook at facebook.com/Zach Hughes. Both ways spelled ZAC Hughes. You can find the podcast on Twitter at Frustrated Grad. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/frustratedgrads for the video version. And for the audio, you can check us out on iTunes, Google Play Podcasts, and wherever podcasts are sold, as well as frustratedgrad.com. And if you like what we're doing, go to iTunes, give us a 5-star review, tell us what you like about the show. If you really like what we're doing, then go to frustratedgrad.com and donate on that PayPal link. Or you could go to youtube.com/frustratedgrads and play this latest podcast and just hit refresh 100 times because views. Anyway, that's it for this episode of the Frustrated Grad podcast. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening if you're listening on the audio version. And that's all you get for today.